Alrighty, hey there. So last term we spent a while talking about fractions, equivalent fractions, adding and subtracting fractions with and without like denominators, multiplying fractions, dividing fractions, mixed fractions, improper fractions. You've done it all. It's beautiful. You did amazing and I'm proud of you. So it's taken me a lot of time to kind of think, what's the best place to go for the summer term? Okay, summer's hard because it's a shorter term. There's less motivation from all of you guys, and that's okay because it's summer. And what is the most useful next step for you after fractions? After a lot of thought, I ended up at ratios, which you can see written on the board behind me. I ended up here for a few reasons. Number one, it's the most equivalent thing to studying fractions. So I think you'll have a lot of success here. It's also used a lot in everyday life. So you can use it for recipes, just like fractions are used in recipes, ratios are used in recipes. For instance, I made hummingbird food this morning, and the recipe is just for every 1 part of sugar, you do 4 parts of water. Okay, and so being able to take that ratio, put it into a recipe, use it in real life. It's also one of the critical pieces to understanding percentages and discounts, sales, any of that kind of stuff that goes along with percents. So I thought ratios would be the perfect next place to go. So what is a ratio? A ratio is just a comparison of 2 numbers. So for example, what I just said with the hummingbird food, it was, let me write it down, it was 1 part sugar, 2 4 parts of water. So what I did is I wanted to make a total of 1 cup of hummingbird food. So I split my cup into 4 parts, which was 1/4 of a cup, which I have a perfect little measure spoon for, and I'm sure you guys do too. So I did 1 of those little 1/4 cups of sugar, and then I did 4 of them with water. You could do that with just even something that's not a specific measuring tool. You could just take a spoon, and I wish I had a spoon sitting here with me, I don't. You could just take a spoon, okay? Pretend my marker's a spoon. Take 1 spoonful of sugar, take 4 spoonfuls of water, mix it up, and you've got the perfect ratio for hummingbird food. Look at that. Okay, but let's talk about it in real life because I know you probably are tired of hearing me ramble. So again, a ratio is just a comparison of 2 numbers or 2 quantities of something, okay? So for instance, I put up here a couple dots. So there's 4 blue dots. The notes are right below this. In the notes, I use orange to blue. I'm going to use red to blue just because I don't know where my orange marker is. So say I have 4 blue dots, and I have 6 red dots, okay? So there's a few ways that we can write a ratio. We can just straight out say 4 blue dots to 6 red dots, and you're done, okay? You can shorten that down. You can say that this would be 4 to 6, okay? You can use a colon. So, excuse me, from English, a colon is just, that's hard to see, right? And you can just put it like that, 4:6, and that's read as 426. Now you're probably thinking, Andrea, none of these are fractions. What are you talking about? One of the most common ways to write a ratio is as a fraction, where we would say 4 to 6, where the first number that we're comparing is on the top in the numerator. The one we're comparing it to is on the bottom in the denominator. So 4 blue dots to 6 red dots. And then you can simplify it if you want. So if you simplify that down, and you said that this is equal to 2/3, that's the same thing, okay? It's just an equivalent ratio, just like it's an equivalent fraction. And a fraction, like I said, is the most common form of any ratio. Okay, let's try some examples. All right, so we're gonna write all of these as a ratio comparing the following, and we're gonna put them all in fractional form. Now, there are 2 notes that I'm gonna make while I go over this. They're all in the notes that are right below this video for you, so don't worry, they're there. And I'll do them as I go. So the first one is if I just write 14 to 21, and I ask you to write that ratio as a fraction. So the first number that we start with is always our numerator. The second one is always the denominator. So this would be 14 over 21. And this is perfectly fine just like this. However, you can simplify it. 7 will go into both of these numbers. 7 goes into 14 twice. 7 goes into 21 3 times. So the ratio as a fraction here would be 14 over 21 or 2 over 3. All right. If you have any questions, just let me know and I can help you. Or feel free, if you didn't like my explanation, you can look online, and I'm sure there might be another video out there that explains it better for you than I just did, but I'm willing to retry. Okay, the next one. 12 oranges to $3. And sometimes you might read it as 12 oranges for $3, okay? Either way, we can write it as a ratio. First number is our numerator. Second number is our denominator. So 12 over 3 would be our ratio. We can simplify that because 3 will go into both of these. It would be 4 over 1. Here's the first point I'm going to make. When we were doing fractions, and I told you if it's over 1, you don't have to write the 1. This would be equal to just 4, right? Which is correct. But when we're doing ratios, we always want to keep that 1 there because that lets us know it's not wrong without it, but it's just more right with it, if that makes sense, okay? So if there's ever a time where you have 1 in the denominator, just keep it there. Okay, almost done. The next one I have is 2 strikes to 3 hits. So this would be like if you're watching a baseball game and player you're watching, he gets 2 strikes, but then he also somehow gets 3 hits, okay? I just made this up out of random. So if we wanted to make a ratio that compared strikes to hits, we would put it as 2 over 3. And you're done. All right, got one more. The next one is what I see as the perfect ratio of cats and dogs as pets in the household. 5 cats, and this is for me, okay? So this is just me. 5 cats to 2 dogs, okay? Yes, that is my ideal amount of cats and dogs as pets. That doesn't include chickens and goats and an alpaca maybe or 2. Maybe a donkey. I would love a donkey for a pet. Anyway, so if we compared and wrote a ratio to compare cats to dogs, this would be as 5 over 2, because we're comparing cats to dogs. Now, if you wanted to write this as a mixed number, because right now this is an improper fraction. If you wanted to write it as a mixed number, again, that's not wrong. It's just not as one of the normal ways to write a ratio. For ratios, we generally leave it as an improper fraction, okay? So you can just, boom, leave it, done. You don't have to simplify it into a mixed number or nothing if you don't want. This is perfect. Okay, all right, so good luck. Let me know. Yeah, if you have questions, I can help.